Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. So, we're honored to welcome Angela Lindvall to Do Beauty Green.
I don't think it makes sense.
I know, just turn it on. Angela is best known for the photographs you see of her as a supermodel, fashion icon. She's graced almost every magazine cover, dozens of fashion campaigns, and the host of a show called Project Run My All-Stars. But from her website, what's even more important why she's here, Angela is a teacher of Kundalini Yoga, an avid environmentalist, a wellness advocate, and a mother.
Thank you, guys. It's a pleasure to be here. It's super exciting to be here as a community and holding space for sustainability and sustainable marketplace. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. Yeah, so we appreciate the fact that you've used your voice to promote sustainable practices and sustainable living. Can you tell us what inspired that?
Well, it's funny. It was almost 20 years ago when I started my modeling career in New York. Like, I grew up outside of Kansas City, Missouri, catching frogs, and my mom was big on natural birth and eating organic food. So I really was naive to everything until I moved to New York and really started questioning like where our trash goes and what's in our food, and was kind of just blown away by all of these things I discovered about our environment. And that's when I became very passionate, and at that time was when my career was taking off and I was seeing what an impact that trends have and media has and fashion magazines, and I was like, wow, why isn't this stuff being written about on the front pages of magazines and newspapers? And so I was like, we need to talk about this, we need to do something, people need to know what are our alternatives. I started going around and meeting a lot of nonprofits and amazing visionaries and movers and shakers. I was like, wow, there is stuff happening out there, but this is like Einstein exists and nobody knows about him, you know? So that's where it all kind of began. And at that time, especially within the fashion industry, I think people thought I was a little bit cuckoo, like, oh, here Angela goes, talking about green again, which I don't even think that coined term was even coined yet.
And it's such a disposable industry too.
Yes. So, you know, that's where it all kind of began, and I was naively started my own nonprofit, and we started the Rock and Farm Alliance, which was it's a community-supported agriculture upstate New York, and it's just been really exciting over the 20 years, even though the movement's a little bit of a snail's pace. It's really exciting to see how much more products are coming into the mainstream, how much more awareness is out there. So, starting right here.
Yeah. So, just tailgating that, we believe that you can vote for your wallet for more conscious brands, and that's all what we're about at Love Goodly. And I know that through your choices, you've made a lot of decisions to work with brands that are doing good or more sustainable. So, if you could share a little bit about how you navigated that.
Well, I absolutely agree that, you know, it can be really frustrating because we're like, why are these companies doing certain things and why aren't they changing? And I think what's really exciting about voting with our wallet is that it puts the power of change into our hands as individuals, as the people, both by investing into companies that are doing good, but also by boycotting and saying, I'm not going to buy that product. And that's really how change will happen, because it's not going to change from the top down. It's already happening. People are making a lot of money doing the things that the way they have always been. So, you know, to answer your question myself, I buy products that are sustainable for my home, especially in my kitchen. I'm a big advocate of sustainable agriculture. It's a big passion of mine. And, you know, just really investing in companies, but also I think it's a question of, I mean, we're always going to be consumers. It's part of our lives, but I think it's also a level of consciousness of what is it that I really need, and coming to a place of simplifying our lives as well. Like, it's not these external things that are going to bring us happiness. And so looking and thinking about what is it that I really need. So I've really minimized how much that I'm consuming as well, And so I think that's a big thing to take into consideration.
What about your dress?
My dress, this is actually, I just met this woman, Chile. It's called Dream Tribe, and it's all vintage dresses that she buys, and then she travels around the world and gets fabrics from all kinds of ancient cultures like India and Pakistan and South America, and then she combines them. So they're all one of a kind. Dream Tribe. Dream Tribe.
So as Justine mentioned, you're a teacher of Kundalini Yoga, so we would love to hear what that means to you or how you discovered it.
Well, I first discovered Kundalini Yoga when I was pregnant with my second son, who's 11 now. And then really, I was always very interested in kind of metaphysics and ancient culture since I was about 15, but I was more of a studier, less of a practicer. And then it was probably about 8 years ago, I really started practicing, and I just felt it change my life in the way of being more connected, connecting with my soul, getting out of the mundane realm that we're in all the time and going inward. And so I wanted to deepen my practice, and I decided to go through teacher training. And I think that kind of really has shaped me in the sense of going back to that aspect of consciousness, because I feel like that's where we're going to shift the world the most, by becoming more aware and more conscious of who we really are. You know, we live in the material realm and the physical world, but we are so much more than that. And I think that's where the more we all start tapping into those unseen realms of ourselves, the more we can tune in with what is it that really makes us happy. So that's been how it's really shifted my life, and it's an ongoing journey. I'm certainly not perfect, and I have ups and downs, but I'm growing every day.
Katie and I are also both moms, and so we're curious how that affects your life, and then how you integrated that back into working again, and how that was supported.
You know, this is actually a topic that I'm really passionate about, because I became a mother really young, and I was at the height of my career. And you know, for a lot of people, they would look and say, how could you want to have a child when you have all this? And for me, it was like on a cellular level. Every single cell in my body was like, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But it was a big choice, and having to navigate, like, what is it that I want? And luckily I was still able to work, but I wasn't, from my own personal standpoint, I wasn't able to do it on the same level, because I really wanted to be present in my child's life. And I feel like we as women, as mothers, all struggle with that a lot, especially if we have high-powered careers. Like, how do we do it all? And I think
that's the ongoing.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a matter of sacrificing everything, but I do feel like the mother energy is what's going to heal the planet right now. And I feel that our children and our families really need us. So I think it takes a village as well. I know that not every woman has the opportunity to say, okay, well, I'm going to choose being a mother as my number one thing and figure out the work thing. But I think whatever we can do to create the balance in the respect of being there for our kids primarily, and getting the support that we need, and being really present. But I'm all about the mother. All about the mother and the village, and supporting each other. I think the more as women can come together as mothers and be like, let me take your child. Karen and I do that a lot, you know. I take Salvador, she'll take my kids, and I think community is a good way to support one another.
So going along those lines, what advice would you give to younger women doing?
Well, that's something that I'm kind of wanting to move into more in my life, both with my Kundalini training background. I also, a few years ago, went through the Institute of Integrated Nutrition to really learn how to coach. And so I'm wanting to step more into the space of mentoring young women, especially starting with models, because I feel like it's a space that I can really give a lot of advice from personal experience. I think everything really comes down to the pure space of getting in tune with our truth and ourselves. But there's a lot that goes into that, and looking at, you know, what's affecting us on the external. And so I guess the simple answer would really be to connect with what your truth is, but there's a lot that goes into that. But mentoring is something that I really want to step into.
Yeah, I'll just jump in. Yeah, just if you don't mind sharing, if you have anything you do, obviously we're doing a panel on the future of beauty, and we're all about having more of having more natural beauty, organic products. Is there some, you know, what did you do? Like, give me secrets or things that you follow?
Well, that's actually really exciting as well, because when I was about 15, my mom's, she had like a chemist, med tech background, and then became a massage therapist and started questioning what we're putting on our skin. And, you know, she realized everything we put on our skin goes into our bodies, and she started making our face creams at home. So this was way before any natural products were out there. And so it's really exciting to see how much that market's grown. I personally really like, I've been using Sonia Dakar for a long time. She also has a chemist background, and she uses all plant-based materials that are organic, and you know, she's an esthetician, and I feel like it works really well. But I use so many products, Shiga Rose, coconut oil, and I also mash bananas on my face, and bananas, oranges, and yogurt. That is an amazing mask. And then the egg white, honey, and lemon juice is an amazing mask. So, you know, it's across the board, but certainly like being aware of what's in our products and not being misled by advertisement. And I think that's becoming something that people are becoming more and more aware of as well, that maybe there's a little bit of smoke and mirrors when it comes to advertising, and, you know, becoming more conscious of like, okay, do I really believe what this person's saying, and the authenticity behind it.
And we have a lot of amazing brands here in our marketplace that have this simple ingredients that are effective. So, how are we doing on time? Good? Well, do you have a mentor?
I have a few mentors, yeah. I mean, I have mentors in the space of spiritual growth and healing. I have mentors more around business and mothering. So I really feel that just as individuals to grow and to succeed, having mentors is really a big thing, and to be humble to ask other people that might know more than you, and you know, I think it's really important.
We have just, if we have time, we had a few quick questions, kind of rapid fire type thing. So, what is your spirit animal?
The crow.
What does that mean?
Well, they actually sometimes get a bad rap, but they're actually all about transformation, bringing the dark into the light. So they're always flying around me and cawing and trying to tell me something.
That's interesting because they're all over my front yard. So
It's good to look up the message behind them, because it's interesting.
Can you share one tip, one easy tip to be more eco-friendly in your everyday life?
Well, definitely voting with your wallet. I mean, that's a big one. I'd say a simple one would be take off your shoes and get on the bare earth and really connect with nature. You know, I feel like we're all so overwhelmed with so much external stimulus that the more we can quiet and connect with nature and ourselves, the more we can be open to say, what is it that I really desire? What is it that I really want? And how do I want to create this world to be a better place?
What is your favorite word?
That's a tough one. Love.
That's our favorite word.
Yeah.
what was your first thought?
My first what?
Thought when she asked you.
I was like,
Oh shit!
Oh, shit, yeah.
no, oh shit's not my favorite word.
what do you do to keep yourself centered? You already kind of shared that.
Yeah, meditation, but I also do different things. Like I use essential oils and take baths. For me, that's really a centering, like rinsing my soul clean. And I get massage and body work by Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, I need you. And yeah, I have different people that I work with, and just going in nature. My partner would probably be able to answer that when I get really crazy with it. I like go in my cave.
Yeah.
But yeah, meditation is definitely what keeps me.
We're going to open it up to if anyone has any questions.
We have time for 3.
Yeah. Yes.
So mine will be a little more deep. So we know there's a lot going on right now with our election. And I wanted to know how you are helping to support this kind of communication right now with young people, and what is your stance on what's going on?
Oh man, politics really isn't my forte at all. And in a lot of ways, I think there's a lot of smoke and mirrors with politics. And that's why I've never said, oh, I'm a Republican or oh, I'm a Democrat. And I feel like that actually causes a lot of separation. And maybe in some ways, the two candidates that we have right now, perhaps this craziness will be what kind of starts breaking the walls down to say, hey, we need to come together more as individuals, as people as a whole, and say, what is it that we want for our world?
You know, a lot of young people aren't going to vote, or they're not, or they're going to write in Bernie, or they're going to do what they're going to do. So what would be your stance, and how are you going to support that, and what are your thoughts on that? Being somebody who attracts that kind of energy with young people, a lot of young followers.
Well, I think that, we basically have two candidates to choose from, and I've heard a lot of people say, I just don't want to vote for either of them. I'm going to vote for Hillary because I don't want Donald Trump to be our president. That's me. But everyone has a choice, and that's their opinion. But I think what I've seen and experienced in my own life, like us voting for our president isn't necessarily what's going to make change happen. What's really going to make change happen is on the ground, and especially in our local municipalities. And when we started the Rockland Farm Alliance upstate New York, it's been phenomenal what we've made happen by showing up at our local city hall and voting. You only need 4 out of 5 votes, so the more we get involved in our local city halls in small towns and engage on that level, that's when we start seeing things happen from the grassroots level up. And I learned that through starting the Collage Foundation. Like, I wanted to change the world. And one of my board members was like, look, why don't we start something local? And that's where the Rockland Farm Alliance was born. It's happening, it's growing. And I learned so much from that. So I think, and I hadn't even thought of that, and I don't think a lot of people do.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the Rockland Farm Alliance?
Well, the Rockland Farm Alliance is a CSA, but we actually went to the local municipalities, and they're giving us land to farm on. So it's using state-owned or county-owned land, that they're giving us the land, we farm on it, and then we have membership families that sign up, and it's been growing every year, but it's also protecting certain watershed and historical land as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Are you working with the younger girls and young models? Are you speaking? Because I would think it would be amazing going out.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's been something that I've been contemplating for a while, and the last couple weeks I've had my nose to the grind planning out a 6-week program to work one-on-one coaching with models, and then developing seminars where I'll fly out to New York and do a weekend seminar or a day seminar and start speaking, because you go into this industry anywhere from the age of 16 to 20, that's even older, and you don't know anything. You're coming from a small town. I was a dirty tomboy, and you're not only thrown in a big city, but you're thrown into a huge industry that's completely focused on the external, and you don't have any guidance. And so having guidance of how to, just on the basic nutrition level of how we feed ourselves and take care of our bodies to keep like if you were a boxer, you know, you've got to keep your body a certain way to go out there and do it, and how to do that in a healthy way, to also how you emotionally handle things and go out into the world and deal with different type of personalities and find your own confidence, because there's so much judgment, so much competition. And then also thinking long term, like your career is not going to last forever, and you're exposed to all this, you know, elusive butterflies of glamour, and that's not going to last forever. And what are you going to do long term? So these are things I want to share, and then branch off from just models, because I think every young woman needs that kind of guidance. But that's where I want to start, because I feel like I've got a lot I can share. But thank you for encouraging.
Yeah. Good luck with that. Anything behind you.
We have time for one more quick question.
I love everything you're saying, and I think it's so empowering. But my question from the standpoint of being a physician is that a lot of these girls come, they're bright eyed in their bushy tail, and sometimes the message isn't ready. They just have their eye on being that model, being that supermodel.
Yeah.
So all of this is amazing, and what you're saying, a lot of it takes time for us to really absorb it and understand where we are. And usually that comes with age. How do you bridge that part until they get to where they're ready to listen?
Well, that's actually really interesting, because I've thought about that as well. Like, I'm now a mature woman that's a mother, and I'm sharing my experience. But when you're 14, 15, which I have a 14-year-old son, and it's like I'm the most annoying person in the world sometimes to him. It's like, whatever, Mom, I know everything. So, you know, hopefully it will come through an element of trust that I'll instill with him, and really tapping in by asking them questions about what it is that they want. I learned some interesting techniques in the coaching around active listening and asking high mileage questions, so that it's not me telling them what to do, because any teenager doesn't want to be told what to do, but to really allow them to create the goals that they have and what they're aspiring to, and then being there, because I've already been there. I've been in the rooms where everyone's judging you and you feel like a very small person. So to be able to share my own experiences that they can relate to, that's what I'm hoping. But I'm planning on starting this really soon, so I'm sure I'm going to learn a lot as I go.
I think we're good. Yeah, thank you so much for